Now, your hosts, Mike Jarek and Juliet Huddy. Next, life-saving advice from parents for you and your whole family.
Welcome back to the Morning Show.
If you are a parent or you're a grandparent, you're going to want to watch our next story. It's about one family that found out firsthand how important it is for everyone who's ever around kids to know what to do in an emergency.
And how that knowledge changed these folks' lives forever, and you too.
My name is Farley. I'm the mother of 3 little girls, and Chase Boyle is my middle child. She's definitely, somebody that I have to keep my eyes on at all times.
Tired.
We live in a house that's right on the Shrewsbury River in Little Silver, New Jersey. And we don't have a big backyard. Our backyard is water. I had just come home from having my 3rd child. I was tapped out, and the girls were so excited to go do an adventure. So they were going to go fishing with my husband and my father.
And I had to change the anchor line on the boat. So before I took the kids down and put the life preservers on them, I was going to run down there, change the anchor line, come back, dress the kids up. And so I just jumped on the boat, put Chasey on the boat with me. I mean, I knew I would only be a second with my back turned. And obviously that's all it takes.
And she slipped into the water without a sound, without a splash, and she was gone.
I reached down for her and I looked into the water, and my daughter's looking at me, eyes open, black eyes open, her arms basically up, reaching with her mouth open. And you look in your daughter's eyes, and the most beautiful child in the world, and she's lifeless.
So we pulled her out of the water. I mean, she was a rag doll. She was not responding.
The good thing was, and thank God, that I knew CPR. I held her upside down and put her solar plexus right on my knee. I was pounding her in the back, and I was getting nothing.
And it was after the 2nd round of CPR, where he had given her now probably 4 breaths and probably 15 compressions in total, she vomited. And it was, "Mom!" as she started to vomit profusely. I remember a sigh going through my entire body of relief, like, she's back. She's back. And immediately I knew if people were just as educated as we were, that we could make a difference, and that's what we were going to set out to do.
Oh, it's
gosh.
so great to have Chase here.
Yeah.
Hi, Chase. Farley. Whoa.
Your husband described it in such, just a shocking way. He said, looking into the water, seeing Chase looking up with the black eyes.
It was a real situation, and there was no time to hesitate. And thankfully, I made him sign up for this optional class that we had been given by my OB, and they said
an optional class.
Optional.
Now,
and it was one of those things.
You mentioned a little bit in the piece there, but your husband, thank God he kept it together to do the CPR. What exactly were you doing while watching?
I was on my knees, and I was praying that, please, just give us a shot. Just give us one more chance here, please, please, please. And he never wavered. He knew he was going to do it. And it took a little while for her to respond, but he had confidence. He was educated, and he was going to bring her back.
When you say a little while, how long are you talking about? Because that must have seemed like a lifetime.
She didn't respond to the first 2 rounds of CPR. She didn't respond.
What are you thinking is that's happening? You're thinking, oh my God, I'm seeing my daughter slipping away from me?
We just came home from having my 3rd baby. We brought a life home, and I was like, in my brain, how am I about to lose a life?
Yeah.
I just couldn't fathom it, but I knew that we were educated, and if it really worked, if it really worked, then it was going to be a good day for us.
Chase seems to be fine now. What did you do when you realized, okay, she vomits and she's going to live? You just totally collapsed.
I was just so thrilled, and then we had another hurdle to overcome. It was short-term memory. Was her short-term memory intact? Because if, there's probable brain damage after 5 minutes.
With oxygen loss.
Right, so.
Will you teach us? Thank God you took this CPR course and drug your husband to the class, or he wouldn't have been able to do this. So please teach us.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go. Jim Schatzel is here. Is he a CPR expert known from around the country and executive director of Team Life? Explain what Team Life is, Jim.
Hello.
Team Life's a company just like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
That really promotes training. We need to get this safety training out. As a paramedic of almost 20 years, I've seen so many emergencies, and on average it takes 8 to 12 minutes for an ambulance to arrive in our country.
Whoa.
In 4 minutes, in these types of emergency, the brain begins to die. So we want to get this education out there to as many people as we can, and this is a great way of doing it.
Now, when Chase was in the water, you drug her out, or your husband did?
My husband pulled her out and actually did the Heimlich on her in the upright position to expel the water.
Show me how he did that. Did he turn the...
Basically, he had her
over?
up, and so he was trying to, like, you know, force water from her so that the first breath would actually go in.
And
That's the right
was the
thing
right
to do?
move?
That in a near drowning episode like that. And then if we don't get a response, so the first thing is, just as was talked about, trying to wake the infant up, trying to get some response.
Scream
if we
their
don't,
name?
absolutely. And we want to go ahead and call 911 at that point.
Right.
Then if we get no response, we want to lay the infant on a hard surface like the ground. And now we're going to go through the familiar steps of airway, breathing, circulation.
ABC.
ABC.
Now, wait, very
yes.
quickly, why a lot of parents would think to maybe turn the baby on the side or go like that and try to do that. Why is that not a good idea?
Well, it's okay if they were choking, they were conscious, and that's how we were going to expel the object with those back slaps. But in this case, if they're unconscious, we need to put them flat on their back.
Let's go through our ABCs.
Good.
Airway is A.
Airway is A. One hand on the forehead, one hand on the chin. We're going to tilt back and lift up. That opens the airway. B is check for breathing. We're going to put our ear down, look towards the chest to see if we can hear the breathing, see the breathing. If they're not breathing, we need to do what the patient's unable to do for themselves. We're going to start off with 2 breaths. We're going to cover up both mouth and nose of the infant and give 2 puffs or breaths so the chest goes up.
Cover up with your mouth.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
So you didn't meet any resistance, so you felt the air go in, you saw the air go in. Now we go on to step C, which is start CPR, start chest compressions. So 2 fingers in between their nipples, right on their breastbone, their sternum. We're going to place 2 fingers right in the center of the chest.
You're saying fingers, not hands.
Not for an infant. And an infant's under 1 year of age. So simply 2 fingers with your hand still on the forehead, and you're going to press down 30 times, about 1/3 of the depth of the patient's chest. You can't hurt them. We want you to press hard. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you would continue that up to 30 times, and then you would deliver 2 breaths. So that's the cycle. 30 compressions, 2 breaths.
And again, when you're doing the breaths, the nose should be closed as well.
Well, with an infant, you're going to cover with your mouth both nose and infant. When we go to a child, it's slightly different.
Tell us how it's slightly different.
So let's say we had a child, and that would be between the age of 1 and 8. So if we have a child, just because they're bigger, we just need to change things a little bit. It's still ABC. We still open the airway, head tilt, chin lift. B is check for breathing. If they weren't breathing, now since they're larger, we would pinch their nose off, make a seal with our mouth over their mouth, and give 2 breaths. Keep your hand on the forehead. Now instead of using 2 fingers, between the nipple, we're going to use 1 hand, and the heel of your hand's going to go down there. Lock your elbow, and we press down 1/3 of the child's chest 30 times.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we would continue that to 30 times, followed with
Back to
2
the
breaths. And repeat that until we get a response from the patient or until help arrives.
It's amazing
Yeah.
that your husband was able to do this under that kind of stress.
Because we were given this second chance. We
Thank
started
goodness.
Chase for Life. And
Sure.
that's to give this ugly education of facelift, make it, you know.
We'll give you more info on mnjshow.com.
Yeah, Chase for Life and
Chase for
Team
Life.
Life, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we will be right back.
Wow.
Come on, Mikey.
Thank you guys.